right. Well, I think I'm going live. I just got a query, something that showed up. Let me just check on my phone here, make sure I'm live. Yes, I am. Okay. Looks like I'm a little delayed for some reason. Okay, I won't look at myself then, it feels weird. All right, so I tagged a few people. Today I'm doing some readings on the Saboteur Archetype. Let me wait a minute or two for some people to jump on. I know a few people that said they were jumping on. Let's see, so say hi. Hi, Anna, thanks for jumping on. Hi, Lisa. Let me just give it a moment or two. So I'm just waiting a minute or two for more people to jump on. Hi, Ramandeep. Yay. Yeah, it's weird. My computer's being really weird right now. It's like, you know, if you ever watched an old movie and your words are not matching up to the mouth moving, and that's what's happening. Mine is doing some weird delayed thing right now, so. But at least I can see myself. I've done a Facebook Live where I couldn't see myself. It was totally black, so that's okay. Don't need to see. All right, so we are doing some live readings today on the Saboteur Archetype. So a couple things about the Saboteur. So just actually, I'm just going to mention too, if anybody's watching after, hit hashtag replay. Just when your comments and all that stuff, it just helps more people to see the video. If you think it's helpful, it helps more people to get a chance to see it. Also, let's see, I was just going to say something else. I don't know, it'll come back if I need to. So anyway, I wanted to know so I know some of you guys have been on my lives and stuff recently and saw the archetypes and heard about the archetypes. So either if this is the first time you're jumping on with me about this, or I just wonder if you had heard about the archetypes before, or about the Saboteur archetype before you heard it from me. So I guess that's just a yes or no question to that. I would just be very curious to know. And also, so a couple things which I started to say about the Saboteur archetype. So the way that what I teach is that everyone has 12 primary archetypes, and we have others also that influence and affect us, and then everybody else has 12 archetypes. But there's 4 primary ones that everyone has, and one of those is the Saboteur, right? And I think the minute you hear the word, it's like you think of sabotage, like how do we sabotage ourselves? I mean, I know even sometimes just the word can have an effect maybe on your energy. You might feel it in your body somewhere when you just hear that word. But so the Saboteur actually is kind of, Carolyn Mace calls it one of the 4 survival archetypes, and I think it does because it shows up when we're afraid, when we're worried about our safety or survival in some way. But that's also where it can sabotage. Okay, you hadn't heard, and Lisa, you had heard. Cool. So it shows up to, it will start to, it looks like it'll appear to be sabotaging us in some way, right? But the truth is that it's showing up to show us something, to make us aware of something. And if we are sabotaging ourselves, quote unquote, from something, it's because there's part of us that there's some more information for us to know. Maybe you are holding an old program, a belief, or a pattern of something that feels like it's not safe to move ahead, to succeed, or, in whatever that thing is. Like, say it's, I don't know, example, I guess. So, I mean, I used to hold back from doing Facebook Lives because I had all these stories, like I have to be perfect at it, and I have to say all these things, and I'm scared, and all these things. And a lot of those things were not true. First of all, I didn't have to be perfect at it, and I started to actually be able to, but I was nervous to be seen, nervous to, I just had all these different stories. I have to know more, but the truth ended up being was I really once I actually started like realizing where I was sabotaging myself and stepping up and actually doing it, I realized that a lot of the fears I had weren't really true. And now I actually, most of the time, I enjoy doing Facebook Lives. I get off, they feel really good. I get on them even, I feel really good. While sometimes I might have that little moment before of like, oh, am I prepared for this? I'm ready. I've realized as I've moved through those old beliefs, it's like, oh, I'm really enjoying this and I'm having fun. So the other thing, sometimes when we're sabotaging ourselves, the second way we actually sabotage ourselves around how we're sabotaging ourselves is a lot of times we get mad at ourselves or judge ourselves, right? Well, I said I was going to get healthier and look at what I'm doing now. I'm just have this horrible pattern. So then we sabotage ourselves by feeling that, judging. And as I just said, there's a reason underneath. So today the intention is, and I find these messages that come through will generally be like for more people, all people that listen after. So, so if you just take a moment, let's just do this and kind of drop down into your heart, into your body. Close your eyes for a minute. And I'm just going with what I'm feeling guided for. And drop down into your heart, into your body. And just see if there's a place. So we all tend to have places that we sabotage more than others, and other places we may feel like, oh, I do pretty good at this, but I feel like I'm sabotaging over here. So, all right, so drop in your heart, and now just think about something, an area that you feel like you're sabotaging, that you want some more awareness around. And then when you're ready, or maybe you already have a question, so you can start posting in the comments what you want me to tap into or tune into about with your saboteur, a message from your saboteur. So yeah, let me know. It might be a topic. You might be like around health or relationship or money or something, or it could be even a little bit more specific. So, and I guess I have a question. Is the video look normal? Because it looks so slow. It looks really delayed here for some reason. So if somebody can just let me know if the video looks normal. Just say, yes, looks normal, or no, it doesn't. So let me see. So I had actually, while I'm waiting here for people to post, let me just look here, because I had some people posting earlier about their Saboteur archetype and how it was like some areas of their life that they felt like they were sabotaging themselves. Okay, let me X out of that. Let me see if I can find, there we go, right there. All right, and let me just take a minute and see if anyone, okay, so no. Yes, you keep getting in and out. Okay, I keep cutting in and out. Okay. You know what? All right. So that's not good. Okay, so for one person it's normal, and for one it's cutting in and out. So if it's normal for you, Anna, if it's normal for somebody, then it might be your connection, Ramandeep. I don't know if you're on a phone or a computer. I know sometimes when I watch some lives with the course I take in the morning, sometimes it cuts out on my laptop, which is what I'm on now, and it works fine on my phone. That was great. Little pauses now and then. Okay, thanks so much for that feedback. So I don't know why it's doing that, but all right. So let me just look at what a few people said today, and I can. So one person said earlier that they have a belief, which is the saboteur shows around not feeling like they're not good enough. And I asked where that tended to show up in a particular area, and it was around like that people have a hard time understand what she's trying to say, and that they usually laugh at her, and it makes her feel like she is not good enough. So, okay, so question, how am I sabotaging my happiness? Okay, so let me just finish the thought of what I was just going to say. So part of it for this woman that I tuned in was about she actually had a belief or something that had happened a few times, and then once it happened, so that's what this is true for many of us. Once we have an experience, it's like, especially if it's traumatic. So imagine that you were in school and you had to stand up in front of everybody, and you made a mistake or something happened and everybody laughed at you, right? And then you can it can be so traumatic that that pattern can get re-embedded, and then you start to seek more evidence of the same. So that's one way that saboteur can show up. So how am I sabotaging my happiness? Okay, it's fine now, Ramandeep. Okay, so let's see what, awesome. Hi, Sherry. Yeah, I tagged you because I saw you were interested in coming. All right, so Ramandeep's asking how I am sabotaging my happiness. All right, so let me check in on that. So it feels like, so I'm getting this feeling, actually I'm feeling it in my like upper abdomen, like my third chakra, so my like solar plexus area. And it feels like there's stopping and starting. So it's like, feels like you keep starting to move forward with something and then you stop. And so it feels like your mind is getting in the way. That's what I'm hearing. So it's like you're starting to go forward with something, and then your mind gets in the way, and it's a pattern. It's a pattern you've had for some time. It feels like you've had it for quite a while, and it's with patterns we don't even realize that we do them. They are unconscious, and it's just like even many people don't realize the saboteur is an archetype, right? Because it's unconscious. So it feels like it's a pattern. So what will help is kind of overcoming, noticing the pattern, and then just recognizing it. So you can think of your saboteur archetype. It's not you. You can picture like it's this part of you, imagine it outside of yourself even. And just say, oh yeah, when you start to notice yourself pausing, it's like there's a little bit of, it's not trust. There's a little bit of feeling of not trust. And it feels like maybe there was experiences in the past where things were going good. It's like sometimes people will feel like the other shoe is going to drop when things feel too good. So then it's like, well, let me go forward a little, but I don't know. So if you notice yourself, oh, I'm not trusting, there's something, I'm stopping myself, and you pause and you just catch yourself, and then you can at that point decide, oh, that's just my saboteur archetype. And you can check around, like, is that true, or is it really safe? Is it okay? And just so you can kind of start to not letting it not getting into that mindset. Let me know if that made sense and if that was helpful. All right, I keep delaying action, forgetting deadlines regarding money issues on my house, business. I think I may be fear related. Yep, when I want to know what lesson I'm needing to learn so I can move forward. Okay. So part of it, one thing is checking in, like, how is this belief keeping me safe? Because when we have a belief, or when we're sabotaging ourselves, right, there's a belief underneath, there's a reason. So there's, I want to say it's serving us somehow, right? So a lot of times when I've talked about clearing things, I talk about clearing what is no longer serving me. Because if something's still serving you, you don't want to clear it. But if something's still serving us, right, we don't want to judge it either. So the first thing when we're noticing things going on that we're like, why does this keep happening, is to be curious about it, right? That's one way. A different way, instead of judging it, is to be curious about it. Like, I wonder why I'm creating this. This is very curious behavior. Like, where's this coming from? I'm curious about it. So that's, one of the ways you can start to look at it at first. So what I'm actually hearing for you, Anna, is to actually do a little bit of journaling around this. So yeah, I think it may be. So forgetting things, right? So forgetting, right? Those are all like ways that we sabotage ourselves. Delaying action. Okay, that one is really standing out to me too when I read this. So, and again, it feels like there's some fear underneath there that is a habit or a pattern. So maybe when you feel like you're delaying action, you can take a moment and, notice that. And if it's so sometimes they say do the thing that you fear most at the beginning of the day and kind of get it off the plate. But sometimes it's also taking what's one small step. So, what's one small step that I can take today? What's one small step I can take right now? Because as we kind of get used to taking the smaller steps, like the comfort zone gets bigger. Like I mentioned the Facebook Lives earlier. Finally, I just had to say, you know what, I'm just going to go on. I'm going to do a couple minutes even. I'm just going to go on, and who cares? I'm not going to worry about, if it's perfect or about sharing something or, whatever it is. So sometimes it's starting to take those little baby steps. And the other thing, okay, what lesson am I needing to learn so I can move forward? So yeah, it feels like, so I'm hearing again, seeing like the journaling. And so don't think of it as a lesson I need to learn, right? And I understand the thought on that. It's just about becoming more conscious. And so we can actually ask ourselves or our subconscious self to help us. Like when there's something that we're not sure, not clear on, or we're sabotaging, you can actually ask yourself, like, please show me, why am I sabotaging? How is this keeping me safe in some way? And when you start to uncover that, so you could even journal a little bit about that and, take out a journal, like, how is this keeping me safe in some way? And so there's like, what's the payoff? But on the other hand, is, if you really know that you want to move forward and step forward in your business or whatever, sometimes it's keeping you safe for a really good reason. It could be, maybe it's not the time sometimes to do something. So really check in and listen to the answers that come through on that. But again, try not to judge yourself, but rather just look with curiosity. All right, so Lisa, I'm at a crossroads. My youngest is going back to school, business has ended, and need to find something meaningful to occupy my time. So interesting. Okay. So it feels like part of it is like really holding this container for yourself. Of like, what would you like to? So when you say occupy your time, so I don't know if that means like something for like an income based occupying your time, or I'm seeing you like holding this space for some curiosity to unfold. Like it feels like there's this need to hold this space. There's something called liminal time or liminal space or time. And it's when we're in this transition between two things. So it's like, I was in it big time when I sold my last business actually. So this can relate and maybe connect with you. I had a yoga and wellness center that I had for 15 years. And when I sold it, I thought, I'm just going to jump right into this coaching and this new business online and da-da-da-da. And it wasn't that at all. And I really needed this time in between to kind of let things sit and sift and shift a little bit. So it feels like for you to not rush it. It's not a time for rushing, to really kind of give yourself a little time and space and notice what draws your curiosity without judging it. Like if you feel like, I want to go to the park right now and just take a walk, or I want to do this painting, or so it's just letting yourself have that space and see what you get curiously drawn to, and that feels like it's going to lead you to the next steps on the pathway. So I guess if we're talking at the perspective of the saboteur, it's to just not let the timing be the timing. Let me know if that makes sense. So Sabrina, how am I sabotaging my weight loss efforts? Okay, so it feels like sometimes when we have weight loss efforts, there's like conflicting goals, which I've had that similarly myself, and that's just what I'm hearing come through right now though too, is like, well, I really want to lose weight, but at the other hand, I'm not finding the right plan actually. So this is what I'm hearing for you. I also wanted to feel good, like in a way that feels really aligned and true, and maybe not as many rules or that type of thing. It feels like there's, for you, there's just a little bit right now, kind of like what I just said for Lisa as well. It feels like maybe the right, I guess, plan or inspiration hasn't quite shown itself to you. That's what I'm getting. So okay. So just notice if there's just one positive, one little healthy step that feels like that you would feel good. If I did this every day, I would feel good. If I drank an extra glass of water, if I walked 10 minutes after every meal, some little thing like that just gives you that little boost and that trust that the rest is coming, and that it just, it feels like actually the walk thing actually feels really good for you. Walking after a meal or something like that, or walking, little walks, and it feels like you're going to get more inspiration. It feels like those walks are actually going to open your energy, your mind up. Sometimes when we walk, especially by ourselves, like outside or in nature, it allows us, it makes space to let things land, for us to hear whatever our higher self or whatever is trying to get through to us. So so that's what it feels like. So, and you can have a conversation with your saboteur archetype. Maybe you're taking a walk. This is what I'm kind of getting for you as well. You can have a chat with your saboteur archetype and be like, hey, I see you there. I see, this sabotage is going on right now, and like, what's going on, and just, you can have a conversation like that, and that's what I'm hearing for you. And it feels like you're going to get some more information, but also like I said earlier, sometimes we can just be hard on ourselves. I think we all can do that. I know I can. And then when it's just like, hey, show me this. And sometimes like when I've checked in on things and then it's like I've been really amazed. I'm like, oh, it's often, sometimes the answer is a lot simpler than we think. It's just we don't look at it because we're like, oh, I don't want to look at that. Like you can hear people actually, when it comes to weight loss, especially like people, we tend to like say a lot of negative things and feel really negatively about ourselves, women especially. So let me know if that helps. Okay. Awesome, Robin Deep. I'm glad that made sense. You are welcome, Anna. All right. So I'm actually thinking, we'll see if anyone else pops on. So I'm going to be doing more archetype stuff coming up. I'm actually feeling like maybe I'll do a general healing next week for the saboteur. Let me know if that's something you would be interested in. So it would be a different, more energetic. I've been allowing myself to speak and explore. And I'm waiting for my inspirations, June. Yeah, okay. I hear you. Yeah, yep. Okay, so let me see if I get more on that. So I'm glad, it's good, Lisa. It's sometimes, yeah. So I think sometimes too, we still have like a pressure or an expectation on timing or what it might look like, right? Like I said, when I sold my other business and I started this business, it was a transition, and it was a transition, but I was like, I just had a really big expectation, and what was showing up did not match my expectation. So, it feels like maybe lower, you know, having like so I heard this the other day about like, if you meditate for 5 minutes and it starts to feel like work at 5 minutes, meditate for 4. Like, what that feel really spacious. So in the way for you, what I'm hearing is also like just even really step it back even a little bit more. Sometimes that stepping it back, we're asking, actually, so this is interesting. So it's going off the saboteur a little bit, but just it's kind of more tuning into your higher self. And it's almost like taking your hands off the wheel. It's like you're throwing things up in the air, letting them fall where they may, and then saying, all right, I surrender, show me, guide me, show me what to do. So it feels like maybe it's just a little bit your expectation still getting in your own way, that you don't, an underlying one that you aren't as conscious of. So that's what happens, right, with the saboteur. The stuff is underlying and it's very deep, right? Sometimes I say the journal prompt, if I tell myself the truth. So it feels like there's just still a little bit of expectation under there that's very deep. And if you just ask your higher self and, you know, make peace with the saboteur for the moment and just say, okay, show me what to do, and just watch and see what comes along. And just feels like that's going to be the next step. And then if you feel, so on the other hand, if you feel like you're just sitting and you feel like you're getting too stagnant from sitting, the other thing is that I say is take a step, do something, even if it's not right. And I just joke about even if it's not right, because it takes off the pressure, because there is no wrong. So it takes off the pressure. So if there's something you've been thinking about doing, and so there's not any like perfect thing either. It feels like just, yeah, there's not any perfect thing. There's never, what did I see something the other day? It says that it was like about there's never a perfect time to do things. It's the conditions are always going to be terrible. So just do it now or something. It was good. So binding, okay. Sometimes, okay. So sabotaging, moving forward in love light, stuck in the past. And Lisa, for Sabrina, I've been finding my need for control has been sabotaging my weight loss efforts. Yes, I can hear those, feel those. I'll get to your question in a minute, Janet. And yeah, I've like had up and down on things, but I've had very like controlled like eating and certain things, and let me try this pattern, like raw foods, or you know, just different things like that. And I realized a couple of years ago, I'm like, this feels like too many rules. So I really had to step back from all the rules game. It didn't feel good. I didn't feel like that's what I want to be a sustainable way for me. So it took a while in the liminal space, which I said to you, Lisa, that liminal space of kind of shifting. I think we're all shifting anyways, away from like these old beliefs and patterns and stories and things, these patterns that we followed as because somebody said this is the best way or that's the best way, and it can feel a little bit limbo-y. But right now, the more I've let go of that control, I've actually found my way to a better place that feels better. So, all right, so Jana is sabotaging, moving forward in love life, stuck in the past. Okay, so, all right, yes, and so the thing, what you guys are bringing up, and thank you for being vulnerable and for sharing where you are at. Anybody that listens after, because we can, like, I know I can relate to many of these things that you guys are talking about, and you are on this call together because you're all helping each other. We're all helping each other here. So, all right. So Janet, sabotaging, moving forward in my love life. So, yes, definitely common to get stuck in the past, and part of it I'm hearing is, do you want to move forward, and what would that look like for you? Because sometimes we don't move forward, and part of it can be stuck in the past from you know, a pain, a bad relationship, different, you know, different situations. But also we can stop ourselves. Sometimes we aren't moving forward yet because we haven't gotten clear on what we would like to, you know, what are we, and sometimes it's because we're not asking for what we really want, because the thing, we might think, I have to have it this way, but some part of you really wants it a different way than might be traditional, or that you might somehow, maybe you might be judging yourself that the way that you want it that the way that you want it is not okay, right? I mean, there's lots of different ways to have relationships and love lives, and you know, and sometimes we have old stories, old beliefs of what I really want isn't possible. So that's what I'm kind of feeling for you, that maybe somewhere in there, there's a belief that what you really want isn't possible. And so that would hold you back from believing it, because when we need to like believe something on some level, I think we create it energetically before we're actually able to create it physically, where we start to see it. So it feels like for you, Janet, I know I mentioned a little bit of writing for Anna, and for you, Janet, as well, it feels like to really sit down and write about what you really would love in a relationship, like truthful. And I said a few minutes earlier about if I tell myself the truth, what I really want in a relationship. You know, maybe you want somebody that you can spend time with, that's really available and around when you want to have fun, but maybe at the same time you want to have lots of freedom still to do things that you want. And so, and I don't know, that's just what's coming through. So really sit and allow yourself to look at what do I really want in a relationship? Because the more that you kind of know, and like I just said about how much freedom do you want, how much connection do you want, what are the things that you really want in a relationship, and you can write a little story about it, like in your journal, or that woman I mentioned about very early on that wasn't on this call but had, or on this live, that had posted earlier. You know, one of the things, like if you look at, say, in a relationship, like the story that I'm telling about my relationship isn't what I like. This is, you know, I have this story of this is bad or whatever, to rewrite the story. And you guys can all do this about anything. When you notice that you are challenged in some way about something, like I think I shared a couple of years ago, I had a belief briefly that my husband wasn't supporting me about this event I wanted to go to. And when I realized I had this belief, I sat down and I rewrote the belief of what I actually wanted, which was that I wanted my husband, I said, my husband is now supporting me, and I wrote this whole story about it. And then guess what? I started noticing how my husband was supporting me. So you can actually, and especially now more than ever, you're welcome, Janet, you can rewrite the story. You can rewrite it. And you know, like when we do affirmations, things that feel really pie in the sky for us, it's hard to relate, it doesn't connect. But I found personally, by writing, as you start to write a story, you start to feel it. You know, they say if you want to manifest something, or you know, whatever, you have to feel the emotion of it. And I find oftentimes writing the story of it, you start to feel the emotion of it, you start to create the experience of it more. And so all of you guys, you can do that for your weight loss, for your happiness, for your whatever, but part of it is to not get attached to how it shows up, and to just notice how it shows up. So I hope this was all helpful. I hope it made sense. Yes, I'm glad that was helpful, Janet. So just, so just notice. Again, start to think about, pay attention to, I have a saboteur archetype. It is not me. It's not who I am. Everyone sabotages ourselves in different ways, and it's just here to show us something, to help us grow, to help us notice. And then from there we can decide. Like sometimes I'll see I'm sabotaging, and I'm like, all right, that's cool, but I'm not ready to change it, and that's okay, because things will honestly change on their own eventually. So like I said, I think I'm going to check in. I might pop on next week maybe and do a healing, like a deeper, like a healing meditation for the Saboteur archetype. I was feeling a call to that earlier today, thinking about that. And the other thing is, just want to share, if you haven't seen Discover Your Archetypes, the 3-part series that will teach you more about the archetypes that I did here in the Nourished Soul. I can pop the link in if you want to check it out. If you haven't done it, if you sign up for it, you'll get it right to your email inbox. And the other thing I'm going to pop in is the Embrace Your Archetypes, which I just opened that course. So the Saboteur archetype, like I said, it's one that we have. It affects everyone so much, but as we start to be able to work with it and uncover it more powerfully, like as you can see, it can affect and help every area of your life. So in my new course, Embrace Your Archetypes, which starts in September, the Saboteur is one of the archetypes we are going to be deep diving into, and it makes some huge difference. So thanks for popping on. As I said, I will pop the links in the comments, and I'm actually going to do that now, because then I think I can pin it after. Let me see. Okay. Copy. Let's see if I can pin it in here. Put it in there. Okay. Okay, so I've got that in there. So you can check that out, and hopefully this was helpful. Okay, so master, whoops, class. Class. All right, see, you don't even have to be able to type well. Okay, good. All right, so that is in. All right, and it is pinned. All right, there we go. Remove preview and pin. Awesome. All right, thanks for joining me, guys, and have a fabulous rest of your day, and I will talk to you hopefully soon.